Milestones and reflections, edits and bloopers. You are now tuned in to the Disneyholic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disneyholic Show. That's Mike TV.
And that's Jen Diz.
Today we are celebrating our 200th episode. Join us as we go down memory lane and relive some of our favorite Disneyholic adventures. Milestones on top of milestones.
Crazy. 200 episodes, many adventures.
Many adventures. And, today we're just going to take some time to reflect on the Disneyholic show as it is. And just remember some really fun memories and all the things that we've done during the time of having this episode. I also thought we could reflect on some personal growth moments and lessons learned over the last 200 episodes. So do you have anything on the top of your head with this?
First of all, I love a reflection.
Right? Let's
Mi
just take a moment
reflejo,
here.
Mulan. Just in
Who
life.
Who is that podcaster
girl?
I see recording right in front of me? There you go.
Personal
Exclusive.
growth, or just in general, we started this podcast in the middle of a pandemic that we didn't know when it was going to end, and our days were spent leaving each other audio messages, making TikToks. So excuse me, we were pretty cool. This was almost 3 years ago or something, and making TikToks, and then also playing Animal Crossing a lot.
So much Animal Crossing.
And then we finally, bit the bullet and stopped talking about it. And we're like, let's just do it. Let's just record it. Let's do a pilot. And here we are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always like to say this to people that, sometimes you don't know if you can do something until you actually give it your all and try it.
Yes.
This goes for any talent, go as far as from podcaster all the way up to a movie star. You just never really know unless you give it your all. And this is one thing that I had been getting my whole life. I'm going to give a shout out to Dave G, Danielle's dad.
R.I.P.
From when we were in high school. Yes, R.I.P. Dave G. In high school, he used to always say to me, you have a voice for radio, which is kind of funny because it's kind of a diss. Have you heard that before when people say oh, you have a face for radio? But he said a voice to radio.
I didn't take it that way, but I get what you mean. When someone's oh, you could be a great hand model or a foot model.
Yeah, exactly. But he would always talk about when I'd call on the phone. Remember back in the day when we had one phone line for our entire household?
Yeah.
That's funny enough to think about on its own. But I would call and he would always compliment me on my voice and how I spoke. And he said I should be on radio. And so and then people constantly tell us when we talk about our Disney trips that they say you should have a podcast. So
yep.
Here we are, right?
200 episodes later. Every week. We have not missed 1 week of not having an episode published.
That is right. That's crazy to think about.
It is, because I know both you and I could be lazy sometimes. I mean, this is...
I was thinking the other, being busy, but okay.
I mean, it's just a lot of work. But we did it. And we're still doing it. It's crazy.
We did it.
Because we love it. That's the thing, right? They say if you do something you love, it doesn't feel like work. Cliche, but
you don't work a day in your life, right?
It's very true. And then we both have found things that we already enjoy doing and figured out how to bring it to the podcast, whether it's using Canva, graphic design, or writing, or web stuff and figuring stuff out and editing, all that.
Rabbit holes galore. Why not do something with it?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I have a secret for anyone else who's thinking of starting a podcast. I think I hear that the most about podcasting in general is people like to feel like they are sitting on the couch next to you, right? That's the thing that people like to get out of podcasts. So the casual, like talking, hanging out here. Wait, wrong way. There we go. Okay, now we're hanging out. Oh, like, why are we cuddling though? That's kind of weird. Just on your shoulder over here. Mike's like, get off of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
For those watching on
Everything's
YouTube, we
Star
were
Wars.
just virtually cuddling, right? Um, but I feel like the casual, honest, and real version of yourself is the best way to be for podcasting, because I've done another podcast in the past where I had to kind of sound and report in a certain way. And it was so much harder to do. Like, not only for myself and my morale, but like the editing and everything that goes with it. It was
Yeah.
so much harder. This is just fun. And it's like the best side job, hobby, whatever you want to call it, I've ever had in my entire life. So it's just so much fun. And of course, to do it with your best friend, it's like,
Boom, boom. That makes it all the better. It's
right.
also what makes it easy to podcast for our podcast because we don't take it so seriously. We just get to record it every week, just do some tweaks if there's any technical things, and then just put it up as is. Just like our YouTube, I'm like unshaven. It's our 200th celebration. Whatever. This is what it looks like when we record. That's just too
This
bad.
is real life.
This is
We're
real
being
life.
real. We're not on Instagram. We're on TikTok version of that, right? That's like where all
There
the
you go.
real stuff comes out.
Yeah, yeah. And then some of my favorite podcast formats are just like this, like you're describing. It's the
Same.
casual. If it's best friends, you could tell the chemistry, like you could feel it. And
Yeah, it's
those are my
true.
favorite. Yeah.
Right. Another thing that I wanted to reflect on is all of the friends we've made from doing this podcast. Like, I didn't really think about it until this episode was coming up. I've met so many people through podcasting, and it is so cool. Like, some of my closest friends in SoCal, like I might be moving in with somebody I met because of the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
insane to think about. So it's just, so shout out to everyone that we met from podcasting, and of course our dear friends that we knew before and
Hey,
or
hey,
met in other ways
hey.
that listen to our podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for the
So
support.
awesome.
Our
Yes.
Patreons too are some of our closest Disneyholic friends, and even give us some of the best ideas whenever it's Patreon takeover time too. So I love that.
Right. And also, like, so I wouldn't call myself an influencer, but as far of a reach of influencing, I feel that we have found a niche group of people that get us and we get them. And so when we do tell people about things through our podcast, they listen. You know what I mean? Instead of like kind of throwing ideas out into a dead space, this podcast has kind of refined our listenership to people that like know and trust our opinions. And, we even take into consideration, like if people write in, we'll like look into it, because we also, it's reversed as well, where we know that our listeners have good taste to like what we like as well. So it's just like this endless uh pool of Disney adulting in a way, right?
I
Being a
love it.
Disneyholic is just like this other version of it. So
There's like this
very cool.
Disneyholics community that just kind of organically came upon itself.
That's right.
And it's the best. I feel seen. I hope you all feel seen and
I
heard
feel
too.
seen. It's true. It's true. And I love that I can just be myself too. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just like, you know what? This is me and here we go. I've also had quite a few people recently saying that they miss live at fives on Fridays. I'm
Oh,
gotta say, this is something off of the podcast. This is something I did on our Instagram, and I'm going to try to bring it back. I don't know if it's going to happen on Fridays all the time, but I'm going to try to do them again. They kind of fell off near the beginning of this year, not beginning of this year, I guess like probably like March-ish, um, due to like life things changing and
yeah.
timing getting a lot more complicated and wishy-washies. But I think it'd be fun to have a little structure going on and like get back into that, so I could get a little more one-on-one basis with you. So if you guys are not already following our Instagram, make sure you check it out. The Disneyholics on Instagram. And we do lives there. I also try to do lives, and Mike, of course, like we always do a lot of posts and stuff when we're in the parks, especially. So if you want to live vicariously or hang out on our lives, whatever it is, like definitely go and add us on there. All right. So last question before we move on to our next topic. Have you had any surprised that we haven't already talked about in podcasting.
Oh,
Things
that's
that you wouldn't have
happened.
expected.
I wouldn't have expected us ever to record our session raw on camera and post it on YouTube every week. I, I I
Yeah.
never would have thought we'd done that. I'm I'm an introvert at the end of the day unless I'm on. And
Right.
I also get anxious about my appearance, but now I don't even care. I'm just like
Right.
whatever. And it's like we're working on something like on a creative project, so people aren't there to like look at our faces. They're just listening, if anything. So I thought that was very unexpected and very easy because we don't have to create like full on high production YouTube video quality content, which I'd love to do sometime if we ever had all that time. But I like that we were able to figure out the YouTube stuff, and it's
Yeah.
unexpected, very unexpected.
That was nice. I know we're getting a whole new um group of people coming in from YouTube now too, which is exciting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think the one thing that like I don't know if I'd say it's a surprise, but it's something kind of cool about me and you is that we have like a scheduled hangout every week.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. It's something I always look forward to, and I know I can spill the tea either
Right.
while we're prepping or during the podcast
Or after.
or
We
after.
always have
Yeah.
like a session before and after every
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Hilarious. All right. Well, with that said, 200 episodes is a lot of time. I think I did a little bit of math and it's over 300 hours of us talking. So I hope you guys have enjoyed
What?
it because we love talking, obviously, 300 hours worth.
300 hours. How many days is that?
It comes down if you do 24-hour days, 12 and a half days of us just
Wow.
talking straight. I can't even
Straight.
stay awake that long.
Yeah, 12 and a half days. Wow.
And I think it was over a month, like a month and a week and a half. So like almost a month and a half of us talking straight of business hours.
Wow.
So, woo. If you took some
Woo-hoo.
PTO in there, then that would be a full 2 months. Can you imagine?
Right? And back-to-back episodes just
Yeah.
uh,
Unless you put us on 2 times speed
oh,
or
that's
1.5
true.
speed, like some of our listeners do. And they always let us know. Nicole, shout out to you.
Shout
And
out Nicole.
Dawn, shout out to you. I know these two always.
I
Always speed
do
us up. I feel like we already talk fast enough, but you know what? Do you?
do a little
Do you?
faster. There are a lot of through YouTube, if there's some, I don't even know if I call them podcasts. There's what are they called? Creators, I guess, where I watch their
Vlogs?
videos, vlogs, exactly, vlogs. Especially when they're like really long and doing like a tour of a cruise ship. I'll definitely put it on like 1.5. Oops. Oh well.
Oops. I mean, they have those have a lot of like just walking around, and it's like, all right, I could
Yeah.
watch this double speed, no problem. Yeah, I get that.
Totally.
I get that.
Totally. Okay, so we are going to play a game.
Ooh, okay.
Am I good? Wait, oh, there we go. All right, this is the 200th episode of the Disneyholic Show game, and this is all about our 200 episodes. So we have so much to look back on that we decided it would be fun if Jen could guess the content of any given episode based on the title alone. And even our title
Ooh,
like structure has changed over time. So this was fun going back and looking.
I
So
have the best memory ever. So prepare
was it
for failing
back
per the usual.
backslash S on Reddit? Sarcasm, right?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
100%.
Let's start with something easy. Let's ease into it. So we're gonna start with
Okay.
Tiki Tom's, a Bay Area tiki oasis.
Oh, I mean, the title says it all. This is when we had not only the creator, but the owner of Tiki Tom's in Walnut Creek as guests on our show to talk about their beautiful tiki bar. And this was cool because it was the creator builds out a ton of I almost said escape rooms. He builds out a ton of tiki bars, and we got to hear all about those. But the owner is the like true Disneyholic. So getting them both on the show to see how they
Oh,
put their brains together and came up with this beautiful tiki bar was really, really cool. Did I get it? Did I nail it?
you nailed it. And we love an episode with a special guest. So I thought I would start with one
We
of
do.
those. And also a happy hour. I think we did bring drinks to our Zoom during that one. And they even like talked about a special drink. It was a really cool episode. So that is episode number 186. So not too long ago, but if anyone's interested in
Not too
that
long.
Tiki Tom discussion, that's episode 186 from April
I
of this.
still I still owe a visit to Tiki Tom's to Nicole and Tony. Shout out to them both. So we're supposed to go there after the episode. I got them all hyped for it. Our actual episode. See, we're influencers. There it is.
There
That's
you
it.
go. They wanted to go. They wanted to go. Okay,
We
how
did.
about
We still need to
this
go.
next quiz question? The title is Queendom of Kindness.
I just before the recording of this episode watched the final finale episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars with Nina West as one of the
Nice.
participants. I
RuPaul's
won't say
Drag
what
Race.
happened because it just happened recently, but that was our episode where we had Nina West on as a special guest.
Yep. Queendom of Kindness. She was also talking about her children's book that she had just released called The You Kind of Kind. And she even told us about filming the Weird Al Yankovic biopic that they're making at the time with Daniel Radcliffe. Um, and then, do
This
you
was the
know?
return episode, right?
Yep. This was not her
This is her
first
second
appearance.
time on the Disneyholic
Second
show.
time.
Yes.
We also had her talk about the in-person expo masquerade that had happened finally after the pandemic. And then there was a little bit more. So sometimes we have just like an extra segment, and this one was without Nina West. And it's part of, well, I guess, Queendom of Kindness. This is hard. I don't know if you would remember.
Wait, say that whole part again. I got lost in it. Say it again.
Oh, there was another segment too in the episode description.
Oh, in the
Um,
same episode?
Same episode after Nina West left. And there's probably no way you could guess it because the title doesn't really uh,
Ooh.
allude
What
to
else
it.
would we have talked about? Was
I'll
it
say,
cosplay?
no.
Darn.
So this is episode 107, October 2022.
Halloween.
Ooh, Halloween. Nope, there's no way you could guess it. But apparently this is when I was obsessed with that game, Dreamlight Valley.
Oh my God.
And there was a whole
That just
section.
fell off out of nowhere, didn't it?
It just fell off, and people are still playing it. There's still DLC coming out. Like I see it on Reddit. I'm still part of that group, but I haven't logged on in over a year, I think. But yeah,
That
at
was
this time, we're talking about the friendly F boy next door, Prince Eric, because he
that's
kept
right.
flirting with me with my character. And then I was seeing in the game Mother Gothel and Merlin were starting to have a romance. So it was a fun game. There was a lot of like random weird Disney character drama happening.
That's hilarious. I was
Yeah.
just in Rasputin's the other day and I thought of you because I saw all these 50-cent copies of Disney Infinity. Ouch.
Ouch. Ouch. Those toys were cool though. The
That
toys were
stung.
cool.
They are.
But the game, yeah, itself.
Yeah, at least you got to keep something cool out of that game.
Yeah, I still have a big container with all of them in it. All right, so that was episode 107, Queendom of Kindness, featuring the one and only drag queen Nina West. She's also an author, a host, and a bunch of other things. But if you guys missed that episode, you can go back and look at it. 107 from October 2022. Wow. Blast from the past.
I almost forgot it's 2024. I was like, how are we only like 100 episodes up from 2022? I thought it was like really fast.
Right. And it's about to be
2024. That makes sense. Okay.
2025.
We're also about to round our 4-year anniversary. coming up soon also, a couple months from now.
Oh,
Crazy. Crazy.
crazy. All right. So this next one is called The High Republic, Beavers and Bongs.
Wait, okay. Hold on. This was a fun one. This episode came out on 420 or close to, right? April 20th of
It came out, yep, April 17th,
2023.
2024. It was only a couple
Was
months
it
ago.
really?
Oh my gosh. And I'm looking at
This
the
was
published
fun.
time. I must have been so clever. The published time is 4:20 a.m. I'm sure I
Oh
scheduled
my
it
God,
that way. Yeah.
hilarious. Hilarious. So this was where you were very witty and clever and mixed being a stoner with being a Disneyholic.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Seamlessly.
Seamlessly. Yeah, there was plenty to talk about, like other Disney fans' view of cannabis. There were like Robert Disney Jr. There were Robert Downey Jr. quotes about him getting going to Disney jail for smoking weed in Disneyland, and
Obama.
Obama too. My
That
voice
was
cracked.
fun. We had all those quotes from everyone smoking weed at Disneyland. That was great.
So now my question for you was, what was the other part of that episode? The High Republic, Beavers and Bongs.
Beavers. Oh, freaking Bucky's. Was it
Bucky.
that long ago? Okay, so Bucky's feels super recent. That's weird. Bucky's truck stop and something would do with Star Wars, I guess.
Yep, you kind of nailed it earlier. So we had a game about Star Wars that was all about stoner things in Star Wars.
Okay, so it was
Yeah, yeah,
blending Stoner and Star Wars
yep,
together,
into a trivia game.
which seems even more fitting.
How fun. We are so fun. So if anybody
We're so fun.
missed that episode, that's episode 185. It's called The High Republic, Beavers and Bongs. And that was just from this past April. Yeah, 2024.
Love it. That was a good one.
Let's see. Why don't we do
What's that from? Somebody out there
is it
knows.
Family Feud? No. Wheel of Fortune? It's like a game show, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Has a whole long song though. It's kind of long. Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. Maybe. I don't know.
All right, you ready for the next?
Yeah.
Okay, this next one is the most wonderful time of the year.
Ooh. Okay. I immediately like have an entire feeling from this episode title, and it's me in DCA watching Fat Cat Swinger perform in front of the freaking Wheel of Death. And I'm sorry, Pixar Pal Around. And everybody in the crowd swaying. It's the most wonderful time of the year. So I'm gonna say, and I'm not even sure, but I think was this an episode where we had Fat Cat on, or at least Marco, as a special guest?
Not this particular holiday
Darn.
episode. Nope.
Oh wait, okay.
That's a good
This is
guess.
the one. This has to be the one then that we liked a lot. It's the one where we made the imaginary 2020 COVID massive drive-through Disneyland extraordinaire.
It is not, but that is still
No.
all-time one of my favorite episodes. And if I can pull it
Same,
up,
same.
I'll find the number so people could listen to it. So this was a 2023 Christmas episode,
Oh.
episode 168.
Whoops.
Any other? Well, I mean, the title is very it doesn't give enough clues.
Right.
The most one, but you're on the right track with it being Christmas and
Yeah, just
holidays
was
and
it
all
just
that.
our favorite holiday traditions in and outside of the park kind of thing? I remember doing one of those. Oh, wait, no, it was last year. Could have been the one where we talked about past holiday traditions in the park.
We did. There you go. Yep.
Okay.
We talked about famous Disney holiday traditions in the parks and also our own, like as friends and family.
Okay.
And then
That was
I
all one
think
episode.
it had a lot of topics. We also decided that day we were going to stir the Haunted Mansion rumor pot, which I realize we've
Oh,
now done this several times.
what's this we, first of all?
Because we're waiting. When is it going to reopen? All this stuff. And then I guess you had just gone to see Gutenberg the musical. So I think this was after a New York trip or something.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty
That was the
cool.
one where I was dog sitting for you and Nicole was with
Oh,
me.
okay. That
Mhm.
makes sense. That makes sense. All right.
And
So
Laura, sorry, shout out to Laura too. She took me to see Gutenberg the musical with her. It was
shout out.
crazy, unexpected Disneyholic meeting up in New York City from Los Angeles and San Francisco. Like, so cool. What
Right.
is that?
Neither of you live there. That's funny.
Right. That was so cool.
Okay. Next one. Is Disney a form of therapy? That's the title.
Yes.
Good
Oh, do you want to know
answer.
what's in the episode? Okay.
Yeah, that was the
Uh,
title.
oh, okay. I think this one is where we had a lovely special guest that goes by Fefa, aka Stephanie, and we had her on to talk about just that. The title is Disney, a form of therapy, because I can't remember her official title, but she works with some type of family therapy. I'm probably missing it all. You probably have it. What is exactly?
No, I too thought it was that
Butchering.
episode. And that's why I selected it.
Oh, was it not?
But it's not. I wonder what we
How
named the
funny.
episode that we had her on. But that was a really good conversation. If I find it, I'll shout out the episode number. But yeah, we talked with an actual professional and a fan and a Disneyholic and a Disney adult all about using Disney and just that sort of storytelling approach to working with patients who might be sick or have illnesses and things. So that was a good one. This Disney is a form of therapy one is, I think we were just going through it and we were like, oh, Disney really helped us. So this was December 8th, 2021. And we shared
We were just
details.
really going through it.
Yeah, I was going through something. And it says we recapped our recent solo trips. So you did Disneyland, I did Disney World, Festival of the Holidays, and we said that these trips were our form of therapy and emotional whirlwinds. What was going on in our lives December 8th, 2021?
Hey, that was a rough time still, right? That was like things were still like up in the air from COVID so much, like much more than it is nowadays. And like it was a weird time. It was a weird time. I think that's like when it like the depression wave was like really happening actually. Cause it was like really like kind of
Yeah.
crazy and chaotic for the first year. And then the next time it was like just coming down from it, like, oh, I'm exhausted and I don't want to think about it anymore.
Yikes.
And I need to go to
So,
Disneyland on a solo trip to feel better,
right?
evidently.
I just noticed the end of the episode description. Ready for it? This is sad. This is sad. It
Uh-oh.
says this episode is dedicated to our dearly departed friend and fellow Disneyholic,
Oh,
Gabriel.
that's
Wow.
right.
That's crazy. 2021. Wow. Okay. Yeah, he
Yeah,
passed
because
on
this will be year
Halloween
3.
of that
Oh,
year.
that's right. We did it right near his birthday. That's why it was on December 8th.
Oh, yeah. See, Disney is a form of therapy. I knew we were going through something at that time.
Yeah,
I think we both like talked about being on the solo trips and just having like moments, just like staring out or your eyes watering or thinking about it.
right.
Wow.
It's so weird too, because we just had a little get together where we were reminiscing about our friend that we just referred to, and it feels like yesterday and so long ago at the same time. And so when you said 2021, it didn't trigger anything for me because it felt like 2021 felt like ages ago. And then this was just recent. But man,
Crazy.
crazy.
Okay, this one is interesting. I love seeing how we changed our episode titles over time. This is fascinating. Okay, this is going back quite a while. The title is Bittersweet 16.
Bittersweet 16. 16. What could have had to do with 16?
It's very weird.
Bittersweet 16. Oh man, this one I might not even like have a guess on. Bittersweet 16.
Bittersweet
Okay,
16.
can you give me a hint?
So it was episode 16.
Okay, there's our first reference.
Episode
Bittersweet
16.
16.
January 20th, 2021. So talk about going through it. The whole world was going through it. I think we were a year into the pandemic. And this episode is called Bittersweet 16 because we're reflecting back on our last visit, which was a year prior in January
Oh,
2020 when we last visited Disneyland while it was open. And the opening
oof.
of Rise of the Resistance, which was happening back then. So weird, so weird. And then the pandemic. But then there was also a lot of like sad Disney news updates on during episode 16 in January 2021. For example, they canceled the Magical Express bus at Disney World. That's so sad. 3 years later, still gone. Well, I mean, they said it was gone, so whatever. Um, Joe Rody has announced his retirement at this time. Now he's back.
Man,
It's hilarious.
he's back.
He's back.
And he's becoming a Disney legend in like a week.
There you go. And then Disneyland was setting up vaccine super stations. What? What
Oh
is
my
that?
gosh.
Was it for the testing or they were actually getting vaccines? I don't even remember what that was about.
I feel like they were using their parking lot or something like that for vaccinations.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Yep. Yep. All right.
Or
So,
maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it was just for cast members. Because I remember that all cast members had to be vaccinated, right? At the time, at least, to go back. But that wasn't even yet. That
oh
was
yeah,
till
you're right.
April, or then they were going back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Disney World opened way sooner before
Yeah,
Disneyland.
they were only closed for like a week or something. I
That's
think it was like a
crazy.
month, but like definitely not like Disneyland. I think it was closed for just over a year.
All right, next fun episode to look back on is called Three Explorers Walked into a Tiki Bar.
Three explorers walked into a tiki bar. Okay. I'm gonna guess. Now it's just the first or second time because we had a repeat visit on our show. I think it was with Trader Brandon, probably the second time he was on. And the three explorers are
Arr,
ourselves,
arr.
are are ourselves, and Brandon. Is that right? Trader Brandon, the creator of Trader Sam's.
It's not, but that was also a good episode. Gosh, I didn't have a plan to look up the episodes that
Yeah.
you guess that are also good that our listeners might want to know about.
We're just going to discover here that all of our episodes are good.
All of our episodes are good. So this one was very much centered on the SEA,
Oh,
and we had come up with our own characters.
oh, it was that one. Darn, I should have said
You were
that out
thinking
loud
of
too,
it?
because I was thinking that could be it.
Yeah, but you'd think it was in the title, right? I would have too. It didn't say SEA in this title at all. It's just three explorers, which I guess is the part.
We were
Walked
too vague with our titles back then. We need
too
to
vague, bad
too vague.
SEO, search engine optimization. Um, but yeah, so
Learn
we
as you go,
we
right?
did a backstory of SEA, and then we created our own secret SEA identities.
Now, was this with friend of the show Nick on our
Yes,
episode?
it was. Yes, it was.
Shout out to Nick.
What? Um, all right. And I think I want to say that it was Nick who did the backstory or helped us cover some of that. I feel like there was a little
Yes.
bit. Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, we like handed the torch over because
Yeah.
like Nick knows his stuff. Like he
I like it.
knows SCA way better than either of us. So we're like, can you come on here and just teach us? Like tell us what time it is with this stuff because we could do all the research we want and we still wouldn't do a better job than Nick could. So
There you go.
yeah.
Do you remember what our characters were? I do not.
I kind of remember like the vibe of mine, but I couldn't tell you the name. I just know that I owned like the cool little bar that like was kind of off the beaten path, only for adventurers and explorers to visit.
Ooh, okay.
So I
Like
was a barkeep,
speakeasy vibe.
right? I
All right,
think.
another episode here. Back in the day, it's called Two Hosts, One Mic. MIC, like a microphone.
Oh no.
Can that be any more vague? That's like just the show itself.
I remember this though because the episode title was so good. Um, because we talked about something crazy on that episode, I think. You're not giving any clues, your poker face right now
Oh,
on YouTube.
okay. The title of Two Hosts, One Mic is very literal.
Oh, oh, cute. Was this when we were in Vegas together and we recorded in like a hotel room?
Close. So this was
Disneyland,
it was at
Disney
Disneyland.
World.
This was the first time in forever that we got to record in person. So this was the first
First
time
time in
pandemic
forever.
we got to do it in person. Episode
Aw, okay, that's cute.
crazy, right? Episode
That's a
number
very cute
35.
episode title for that, even though it led us into not knowing what the hell's going
I
on.
thought yeah, I thought it was
Very cute.
something like sexual or something.
Same. I thought we were talking about some like really crazy
Yeah.
Disney underground story or something there.
So episode number 35, Two Hosts, One Mic. This one is worth a listen because we actually do a fully live episode from Avengers Campus. It was the opening of
That's
Avengers
right.
Campus.
That's right.
Crazy. Grand opening. All of our thoughts, good and bad, about it. And
That was an
yeah,
insane day.
it was.
Insane. Do you remember we like couldn't eat or drink and it
Yep, and
was
you're
so
trapped
hot?
in. You're all
Oh my
trapped
God, that
in.
was crazy.
There's no shade
Being held
anywhere.
hostage inside Avengers Campus.
Oh man. How cool that our first time seeing each other in person after not after, but like during the safe part of COVID was not only at Disneyland, but we got to record an episode too. Amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Alrighty, next episode. Guess this description. It's called Everybody Wants to Be a Cat! Exclamation point.
Everybody, everybody. I'm just like singing today, huh?
Wants
Sorry.
to
Oh my God,
be a
200
cat.
episodes of me singing also.
It's a
Um,
celebration.
this has to be with Fat Cat Swinger, or else I
No,
just give up.
nope. I think you just
No.
well, technically, Fat Cat Swinger's on every single episode.
Okay, thank you for that. So the answer is still correct. Okay, this is about Disneyland cats.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly. So
runner up. All
Disneyland
right.
cats, which also meant we probably talked about who?
Nutmeg.
Who's Nutmeg?
Nutmeg's a famous Disneyland cat.
Oh,
Hello.
okay. Who also loves Disneyland cats?
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. We talked about it, and I think we even played a clip from when he was on a nighttime show talking about the Disneyland cats. And then, of
Did.
course, we also
I
played
love him.
a Disney cat game. And I think, now you tell me, I'm going to tell you the date. So this is episode number 70,
Okay.
February of 2022.
All right, what am I supposed to tell you?
I think we dedicated this episode to Bagheera.
Oh, yeah. That was Christmas of 2021. So yeah, a couple months later. Oh, Bagheera. I
Wow.
miss him so much still every day.
Oh,
I hope everybody gets to be as close to a pet as I got to be to Bagheera.
Yes. It says directly
child.
on the episode, we will also remember a Disney cat that was very special to us. Oh.
Aw. So sweet.
Okay, so
See, this is real life. We talk about
yeah, right? These are points
our
in time.
friends and our animals and our pets that have passed. Like, this is life.
My goodness. Okay, here's a good episode title that encapsulates a lot of the vibe of the Disneyholics. So this episode was called At Your Own Pace.
At your own pace. I have no idea. This would be where we talk about solo trips again.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It was a
Perfect.
solo trip themed episode with tips. And then you had just completed a trip to Disneyland, so you shared some highlights that you did all solo. I think one of them included having a meal with somebody that didn't have a table, or you didn't have a table, or was that someone else? And I'm
No, was
confused.
this one when Morgan was on the show with us?
Oh, this doesn't say her, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Morgan's story of when she went
I wonder if
to,
this was the same episode because
yeah.
she was also reporting on a solo trip. Shout out to Morgan regardless.
What's up,
Um,
Morgan?
she went to Disney World alone and she ended up having, yeah, table
At
with somebody.
Tony's
Yeah. Yep.
restaurant.
Yep.
Wow. See, I remembered it. I just Mandela'd it to you by accident.
I don't think I've ever done that alone. I would, but it just has never happened.
Yeah. So if the opportunity happens, you would.
I remember I offered a guy, we were sitting at the bar in Trader Sam's, like fresh after the park reopened after COVID. And I had gotten those amazing panko fried green
Pickles.
beans.
Oh, green beans.
No, like the panko, right?
Yeah,
Panko?
yeah.
Panko?
Panko crust.
Sounds weird right now. They're super good deep fried green beans, and you dip them in the sauce. And I had just like this mountain of them, and I was like, nobody wants to eat that many. It's like not even good for you to eat that many, or I guess it's not good for you to even have one. But hey, it's okay. Delicious, and I'm on vacation. And there's this guy that I started talking to, and he's really nice, and he's like, he'd won like the tickets to come to Disneyland, and it was going to expire, so he couldn't figure out who to come with, so he just came by himself, and he had four single day tickets that he had won, and he just came for 4 days by himself
Oh,
instead. He just used
wow.
all four for himself, and he was so nice. And he kept staring at my food. I'm like, "You want some?" And then he was like, and it got weird. And I'm like, "Oh
Uh-oh.
man, why do I have to make it? I always have to make it weird. I always do." But it was like, wouldn't it be weird if it wasn't COVID? But these are now finger foods that you dip in something. But he still took them.
You did?
And I was like, I immediately caught on. I saw his face. I'm like, or, if it's too weird and it's COVID, I totally get it. Like, don't, like, I just thought I'd offer. And he goes, no, I'd love to have some. I've always wanted to try them. I'm like, perfect.
Didn't want to pass up those green beans. Wait, what do you dip them in? Do you remember? Is there a tip?
It's like this aioli, some kind of
Okay.
aioli sauce. It's delicious.
That sounds good. My mouth is watering a little bit.
Mine not
Also,
enough. I need to keep water.
also on that episode, which was 114, December 2022, At Your Own Pace, we talked about solo trips, but we also did just a fun little segment where we went on TripAdvisor and Yelp to read online reviews of two very specific things: the Walt Disney Family Museum and then Downtown Disney.
Oh, interesting.
So I guess, and they're both like outside of the park, right? They're not in the park.
Yeah. I wonder why we decided on those two. But I always love reading reviews. Those are fun. We should do one of those rounds again.
Oh, I love it so much. Yes, I'm always down for that. Also, if we should find people that we know who are fellow Disneyholics, somehow find their username and then read their reviews out loud if
Oh
they
my
have
God,
any.
hilarious. And have them on the spot and have them real awkward.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, like they're listening. They're like, I think this
Oh,
was me.
it's like
Catch them in their
mean
like Karen
tweets.
moment on Yelp or
Yeah.
something.
Busted. Okay,
We won't call
another.
you out though. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we will. No, I'm just kidding. You're right. We shouldn't. Uh, this was a very fun episode. It's called The Totally Awesome Disney Decade.
This must have been where we talked about Disney in the 80s and we played an 80s game as well. Was
Yep.
this for one of our birthdays?
It was, nope. It was just an 80s themed episode in October of 2022. And I think, oh, it was a Patreon inspired episode. So there must have been a
Oh,
topic. Yeah.
okay.
A
Patreon
topic that came
takeover.
through. And we also were celebrating the late, great Dame Angela Lansbury had passed away. around that
Aw.
time. Mrs. Potts and Bedknobs and Broomsticks and Murder She Wrote and all the things and Broadway. But guess what? We had a special guest on that episode, which is very rare. It's very rare to get this person to do anything, let alone be on our podcast.
First of all, I've been hanging out with her again recently, and she keeps saying, I want to be on the podcast. What days do you record on the podcast? So maybe we should get her back in. And it is our dearly, I almost said dearly beloved, but that
Departed.
sounds like
Oh, I thought you were gonna
departed,
say-
right?
No, this is not. This friend is alive and kicking. She's just hard
Alive
to
and
get a hold
kicking,
of.
however, it is very impossible to get her over to your house or return a text message. It is Danny Disney. Dun, dun. Danny
Dun, dun,
Disney in the
dun.
house. Get her on here soon.
Which that makes sense. She loves the 80s, 80s themes, 80s parties, 80s
Totally.
night at a club.
So fitting for her.
So fitting. So that if anyone wants to hear all about Disney and what it was like in the 1980s, what attractions came out, what movies were going on, and hear from a special guest, that was episode 106, the totally awesome Disney decade from October 12th, 2022. Wow.
Very cute. I believe the last time I saw her was just a few days ago, and she's wearing a Care Bear shirt. Very 80s.
Perfect. Care Bear stare. Okay, another title for you. The future is now.
Future is now.
Huh.
Future is now. Now is the time. Now is the best time. Now is the best time of our lives. The future is now. Future is now.
The future.
Man, these are too vague. What were we
now.
thinking? All right. Star Wars. I feel
It's not Star Wars related. Sorry, I shouldn't have. I was looking for like a robot.
I was like, I hear BB-8. He's trying to tell me something, but I don't know his language. I don't speak droid. Robots. I don't know.
I'll give you a clue.
Animatronics?
Nope. I'll give you a clue. So normally
Hold on.
Oh.
For those of you who are not watching on YouTube, I've noticed this a few times now. Mike likes to say nope while nodding his head yes.
Oh, no.
What is that?
I don't know.
What is that? He's like, nope.
I don't know if I was doing that. I should be a politician, maybe. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'll give you a clue. So normally, and some fun behind the scenes for our listeners. So typically we do every other episode. Like you'll produce one, and then 2 weeks later I'll produce one, and then that way we get some space in between. And that means we write our own episodes, right? Basically, we write our own episodes. This
Right.
episode we did not write. And it's called The Future Is Now.
Vicky, our ghostwriter.
Yep.
Our ghostwriter, Vicky, took over and wrote an episode for us. This is ChatGPT AI coming in full effect on the Disneyholic show.
Yep. So we had ChatGPT, aka Vicky. She wrote the entire episode. She even wrote these like funny radio script shows that we did on air about.
That's right. We had to read like a script, right?
We had to read a script.
Like the first time we ever did a script on our
Yeah.
show.
It reminded me of those old like Orphan Annie or War of the Worlds radio like sci-fi things.
Right.
One of the stories was a sci-fi horror story about two Imagineers trapped in Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters. And we played all the characters and the narrator. And yes, ChatGPT wrote this entire thing. That's crazy. And we also did a segment, also written by ChatGPT, that was all about Tomorrowland through the lens of AI and what it could look like over time. And it spit it out, and we read it out loud. Okay, first of all, we are so cool. That was February 2023.
Right.
Over
We're
a year
on top
ago.
of it.
We're on top of it, this technology. We know the ways of Walt, and you got to look toward the future.
Right. And now I wish I had taken note of all my friends that were like very anti AI and see if they are still, or if they use
Ooh.
it in their everyday work.
Right. Yeah. Does it actually now a tool for you or not?
It's
That's
a
good
tool.
question. We ended it with a look. We asked ChatGPT to write us what a reboot of Captain EO would look like in 2023.
Oh my gosh, hilarious.
Very strange. So that was episode 125, February 2023. If anyone wants to listen to that completely AI written episode, we're ahead of its time. Thank you very much.
Now, do you remember, did we tell people ahead of time that we were reading a script from AI? Did we drop the bomb at the end of it?
I want to say we said it in the beginning. I want to
Okay.
say, yeah. It's definitely right there on the description, but now I'm second guessing. Okay, there's a this is a cool one. It's called the episode's called "It's Raining Cats and Dogs."
Okay.
Huh.
Was it a combo of some insane inclement weather we were getting in the parks, along paired with a game about Disney cats and dogs?
Nope, not at all. But that's a good guess because we do have a lot of games. This one is related. It was more so a trip report from you, and you had gone somewhere and reported back what you observed.
Oh, this was from the Walt Disney Family Museum special exhibit, Disney's Cats and Dogs. I believe it was just called that.
Yep, it's called Disney's Cats and Dogs. There you go.
Very cool.
And I think the raining part came in because I had a trip recap also after I went to visit Cartagena, Colombia, which was my first time in Colombia, because the whole time I was there, I just kept thinking about Disney stuff like Encanto, Pirates of the Caribbean. They had like this whole part of the island that it just looked like the actual Pirates of the Caribbean ride, but in IRL, it was just crazy. And there was a lot of rain when I was there. So I guess that's where it came from.
So cool.
Wow. So that was July of 2023. So just about a year and change ago. Episode 144. So if anyone wants to hear about the Cats and Dogs Walt Disney Family Museum exhibit or my Disney perspective going through Colombia, that is the episode 144.
Perfect.
Let's see. I have one more for you.
Okay.
Let's do one more. This is called Skipper's Gone Wild.
Skipper's Gone Wild. This one was, I don't think we had a special guest. Did we?
Nope.
No. This was the one where we talked about, we like made up Jungle Cruise jokes that were adult.
Yes. Oh my God. That's spot on. It
I had to
says,
spit that out though. It took me a minute
it
there,
says,
huh?
we take a detour to the backside of water and tell some pretty lousy adult Jungle Cruise skipper jokes. You also had a trip report here, and it was a very big one at the time.
What, when was this?
This was May of 2021.
Oh, was this would it have been that late? Was it my trip report from the reopening day of Disneyland?
Yes, it was. Wow. What a time.
Crazy.
Like, not only did it close for months, but then all the hype too about the reopening, it was like a whole extra thing of stuff.
Yeah, when did it reopen? It was like the end of April, I guess.
It must have
End of
been.
April, and then must have been like the first episode of May. Something I can't imagine holding that back for more than a day to record that
Right.
episode.
I'm wondering that too. Okay,
Uh-oh.
hold on. Hold on. I lied. I have two
Uh-oh.
more. I keep finding really good ones that I want to say out loud. I have I'll try to wrap it at two. I have two more, I promise. Okay.
It's
There's
fine. I love this.
there's an episode called oh, and I listened to it. It says I have 4 minutes left. So that means I listened to it.
You cut it off right at the ending where we're wrapping it up.
You're
You're
like, oh,
like,
that's it.
drop off.
So this one was called The Disney Legend Wore Dress Shoes.
The Disney Legend wore dress shoes. Was this dress shoes? Dress shoes. I'm assuming this was kind of recent, maybe April-ish of this year. May?
Nope.
March? March.
Nope.
No?
Nope. Nope.
The Disney legend wore dress shoes.
Shoes.
I was gonna think it was Bob Gurr with his shoe talk. He had his whole bit about wearing red shoes, but they
Shoes?
aren't
Nope.
dress shoes. They're tennis shoes usually. Disney legend. Dress shoes. What the heck was this
Well,
about?
the reason I like this title, it's truly a mashup of the only two topics on the show, which are
Okay.
unrelated topics. One was a movie review, and the other one was a Disney legend deep dive.
Oh, okay. This was an episode about Disney legend. Oh, not Art Linkletter. Hold on.
I've never heard of them. It's
Art
two,
Linkletter?
actually. No, the ones that we talked about in this one. It looks like there was
Oh, there's
two
two.
that we talked about. Well,
Oh,
actually,
maybe this is a Patreon topic because I bet you this is Patreon takeover.
yeah,
So we had to choose some Disney legends that people don't know about.
exactly.
That's why
That
you
makes
don't remember
sense.
it.
That's so funny. Yep.
Um, Gosh, who was it? I can't even remember who it was either.
He has a cool
Shoot.
name. Actually, a lot of Imagineers have pretty cool names, but he has a cool name, like
Oh,
memorable name.
Wooly Reitherman.
Yep. Wolfgang
Wolfgang.
Wooly Reitherman.
Yep. And then who was the
Um,
second one?
Roger Broggy.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And
Excellent.
you're
And then the
right.
dress shoes
Uh-huh. Or
was the computer something. What was it? Don't tell me. The computer wore tennis shoes.
yep. That was the movie review Patreon topic that we had to do. 1969 Walt Disney film, The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, starring another Disney legend, Kurt Russell.
That's right.
So that's a fun one that is easy to go back. So if you're listening and you haven't watched this film yet, you can find it on Disney Plus, old school from 1969, The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. Have a watch and then listen to episode 113 to see our review of that movie.
Nice. That's a good one.
That was a good
That
one.
was fun. See, this proves like how fun these Patreon takeovers are.
Yeah, because they're not our ideas, so even takes us a second to remember what we
Yeah,
covered.
yeah.
Okay, so the last one
Okay.
is Guardians of the Galaxy Animal Instinct.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Does it have a colon in it?
Yes.
Okay. So it's within the last year or so. Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. This is going to be about Cosmic Rewind at Walt Disney World and Animal Kingdom.
Oh, no, that's a good guess because it's the mashup, but neither of those are correct.
Oh, no.
Actually, no. You're kind of
Oh,
right. You're right. One of the topics was a history of live animals in Disney parks.
oh, another
So,
Patreon
so there you
takeover.
go.
Okay.
And that's Animal Kingdom too.
And then did we review the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Volume 3. And we both
Oh
like
my
really
God.
loved that one. So
Yeah.
we probably talked a lot about it. Aw.
That was a
Also
good one
on that
too.
episode, you reviewed Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Night.
Oh,
So
yes.
if anyone wants to take a look back on the history of live animals at Disney parks, our review of Guardians Volume 3, or Star Wars Night from 2023. So this was May 2023. We're talking about episode 136. Wow.
Awesome. That was great, Mike. Thank you for pulling that all together. It's
Memory
always fun to
lane.
just like take a peek, and you could almost take a peek into any of our episodes, and it's like this whole, like, a lot of people have like photo albums for their trips. We have
Yeah.
like our podcast, right? This is like
Yeah.
every episode's a memory capsule. We share so many personal and um just like our own like vision of our experience with our listeners and our friends, right?
Yeah.
So
There's almost
so
like
fun.
an imprint of the pulse on our lives once a week if we went
Right.
back.
Right. You're like, what were we going
Ooh.
through during this episode?
Yeah. Wow.
Well, speaking of movie reviews, we were dying, and I'm not even kidding you. We were both dying to review Deadpool and Wolverine in today's episode, but it's our 200th episode, so we need to take a moment to celebrate our podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's hold off. Plus, this gives you all a little more time to watch it. I know spoiler reviews are a little like, if you go like the very next week. So we're gonna give it another week, but we will be reviewing Deadpool probably our very next episode. So
Very next
hang
episode.
tight for that.
And
Deadpool and Wolverine.
there's like really no way to geek out about it without addressing the spoilers. So you got to
Right.
watch it, go see it. It's also one of those movies that we talk about that is the fan experience of watching it with an audience in the first couple of weeks is part of the excitement, just like Avengers and Spider-Man No Way Home and all those. So go see it if you haven't yet.
Yeah, and I'll give you a hint about what I think about it. I'm gonna go see it again tomorrow. So
Oh my
yeah.
God, I might see it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have a
Nice.
solo day tomorrow in Vegas, and nothing to do. And I was thinking
Wait,
of
you're already
watching it
leaving
again.
tomorrow? Oh my
I'm leaving
gosh.
tomorrow.
We got
Yep.
this episode in just in time.
Just in time.
Perfect. So, Deadpool and Wolverine coming up. You have a week to watch it, and we're going to go full spoiler heavy on it. We're also going to talk soon, probably again that same episode, about our last roundup of pre D23 recap. So, we're going to go over what new things have come out, what's exciting, because D23 is around the corner. It will be actually starting the day after our next episode because there is a D23 day in Disneyland on Thursday, first ever. So we're going to
Ooh.
report on that on the following week and all the things from D23. But next week, we will have things to be excited about and rumors and whatever else we want to share on the episode. So hang tight for that one. And our Patreon party, once again, if you are already a Patreon of our show or a patron of our show, um, and or would like to join and become a Patreon. Oh man, I always mix up Patreon and patron. If
Yeah,
you'd like to become a
confusing.
patron of our show by joining Patreon, go to patreon.com/the Disneyholics. Join us, and we have a Zoom party, virtual party coming up on the 18th to celebrate our 200th episode and our wrap up of Patreon Takeover Month, which happened a little bit ago now, but we were waiting because of this big celebration and after D23 and all the things happening. So much to talk about. We are going to have trivia. We're going to have hangout time. We're going to get to know each other a little better and just have a ton of fun with each other. So that's on the August 18th at 4 p.m. And if you're interested and want to know any more details on that, please feel free to reach out to us and I will give you all the details you need. And we'll be seeing you there soon. All right. Well, today's episode was so much fun recapping 200 episodes
Whoop, whoop,
of the
whoop, whoop,
Disneyholic
whoop.
show. So many things to remember, and it's just as fun going back down them as it was the first time. So, like, just excited that we were able to create what we've created together, Mike.
Yay! Well,
Also, thank you so much for hosting that game. And of course, we have all the stuff to look forward to.
well, thank you all for listening and celebrating with us on episode 200 of the Disneyholic Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disneyholics.
And if you want to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.